Hello, friends and fellow seekers of the good, true, beautiful. It's Mike here. And for Identity Matters this month, I wanted to talk about another tool that is common. I bet you've seen it around if you've heard about anything related to coaching, but it is such a powerful tool. And I want to talk about the ways that I believe it's underutilized by many people, even those coaches who do use it quite a lot. It's called the Wheel of Life, and I'll show you an image of it here on the screen. The one I'm going to show you, though, is my modified version of it. Most of them you see will have 8 different categories. I have expanded that to 10 because I think it's just more useful for that. This is sort of like what I guess I'd call like a dashboard on the panel of the car of your life to kind of tell you a general sense of where things are at, or kind of give you a sense of the different areas of your world. So as you can see on the image that is there, that you can do a pretty good high view of what's going on in different parts of your world, or at least take a look at what's happening with spiritual growth in your life, or significant other, and I'll walk through what these mean. Family, friends, environment, personal growth, finances, career, fun and recreation, health and fitness, and the like. And the point of this is that there are many different ways that you can use this tool throughout the year to help you stay on course, to help you stay balanced, to help you diagnose when things are not going well, to help you set goals, to help you dream, and to help you get back on track when things go awry or you kind of feel like you're getting off track. So let me just walk through what the different categories mean first, and then I'll tell you all the different ways that I use this tool with clients and that I find it to be useful in my own life as well. So first, I'll just start at the top and then kind of go clockwise around the circle. Spiritual growth, relationship with God is what I have there in parentheses. This is like the deep central part of everything. If you don't have a spiritual center or kind of a groundedness in your spiritual life, everything else can feel hollow or empty or aimless or void, or not have a sense of direction or grounding. And so it's important that you have some sense of spirituality in your life and what that means for you. So it might involve spiritual practice, it might involve a religious system, it might involve perhaps community of religious practice, different things like that. So it's just anything that falls within that pie piece there on the circle. To the right, significant other, romance. This is, of course, that relationship, that most intimate of relationships that you have in your life or don't. And we'll talk about that because this doesn't have to do with shoulds. This Wheel of Life, it has to do with fulfillment. And for some people, you don't have a significant other, and that is the thing that fulfills you. To the right of that, or down the wheel, is family. And this is not referring to your extended family, but to your immediate family. So it's and by that, I mean the people that are in your frequent and immediate relational circle. So if you are in communication with, let's say, your Uncle Joe every week, and you're always talking to him, or he's always coming over for dinner, that is immediate family. But for those cousins, or even an aunt, or even a parent that you're not in communication with on a regular basis, they don't really fall in this segment. They're not people that you're relating to all the time. So quality of life, quality of connection in this arena. Below that is friends, and again, in parentheses, it says inner circle. So these are not your casual friends. These are people that know you well, or that you would identify as people who know you well. And even identifying what do you mean by that is part of the work of the Wheel of Life. Is what do you mean when you say someone knows you well, and how do you know that they know you well? So below that is environment. This is a bit of a vague one, but yet when you think about it, it does have a pretty big impact on our lives. This is literally the home, or the neighborhood, or the city, or the part of the country that you live in, and your level of satisfaction or fulfillment with that. For some people, the location they're in doesn't have a lot of impact on them as long as other things in their life are humming away nicely. But for other people, where they are, like the context of their home, like how their home is set up or the way their home works, the neighborhood, the community, the city, the region really has a massive impact on the level of satisfaction or fulfillment that they have in life. And it makes a huge difference on whether they are fulfilled or not. So that is another one. At the bottom of the wheel, you see personal growth. This is different from spiritual growth. This has to do with stretching yourself in other arenas, like intellectually or emotionally or physically or socially. And just learning how to grow yourself as a human being, to develop your capacities, learning a new language, traveling more, learning how to dance, studying some topic that has been interesting to you but you've never explored deeply. All those kinds of things fit under this category. Next to that is finances, and I love to describe this as your relationship with money, because it isn't just about the crunching the numbers or getting all your dots in a row. It has much more to do with the way that you relate to the resource that money is within your life, and having a healthy relationship with that resource. So that's something that is important in any culture, and especially in the West. Next to that is career, which of course includes the actual work you do, but is also the coworkers. It has to do with the culture. It has to do with all the people and the systems that you work with in your job. Next to that is fun and recreation. This is delight and enjoyment. This is about play. It's about reconnecting to childlikeness on a regular basis, and just getting into the kinds of delight and play that restore your soul. So what is that? And do you have that in your life? And how do you return to that again and again? Health and fitness is next to that. That's not just about exercise, but as nutrition and sleep and exercise. It's everything related to both your physical, mental, emotional, and emotional well-being. And then we're back up at the top with spiritual growth. So as you can see, as you look through the wheel, all of these things more or less cover every dominant area of your life. So it's a way of taking a kind of 10,000 foot high view of everything that goes on in your world, and to evaluate or diagnose kind of how things are going. So one of the simplest ways that you can use this is to simply do a quick sort of gut check diagnosis of how things are going. So I do this with clients on our first conversation every time during our discovery sessions. We just go through the wheel. I ask them to do a gut check on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being I'm not satisfied at all, 10 being I'm absolutely satisfied. With the caveat saying there's no should involved here. It's not what you should. Satisfied doesn't mean I should be at a different level. Satisfied is, are you satisfied with where it is right now? And I just say, on a scale of 1 to 10, how satisfied are you with the level of spiritual growth in your life at the moment? How satisfied are you with your romantic life or your relationship with your significant other? How satisfied are you with your immediate family, those relationships? And they just give a gut level number from 1 to 10. This simple diagnostic is a great way to kind of get a sense of kind of where things are at, like where the pain points are, where the successes are happening, where things are going well or not. It's simple, it's a soft measure, but it is a pretty good measure of noticing where you might be not paying attention to something or trying to ignore something that is actually a big issue that might be going on in your world, or not noticing where you're actually thriving and paying closer attention to what you're doing right in that arena. At a deeper level, you can ask yourself a more fundamental question of what would ideal fulfillment in each arena look like. This comes more into the notion of what we call in coaching the high dream. And the high dream is simply like if wouldn't it be wonderful if kind of dream of if I were to create a vision for my life when it comes to my inner circle of friends. If I were to be able to write my own script, to write my own story, and just have an inner circle of friends that were just what I ultimately really wanted, it would be just exactly what I needed and beautifully perfect for me, what would that look like? And if you could just write a quick paragraph about that, what kind of circle of friendship would be ultimately fulfilling for you? What would you guys be like with each other? What would you be doing together? What kinds of connectivity would you be having throughout the week? How many of them would there be? Would you go on trips together? That just having a quick snapshot of what would an ideal, fulfilling dream look like, a high dream of that arena look like for you. And do that for every single pie piece on the wheel of life. That can give you a much more clear idea of what ultimate fulfillment for you would be like. And that's helpful because in many cases, we humans tend to adapt too quickly to the status quo. Like we're able to normalize kind of whatever situation we're in and say, well, it's good enough, or I can make this work, or I'll just get by, without really thinking about the ways that it could be better if we simply put a little bit of effort in, or if we tried a few things that might be different, or if we, joined a club, or if we took a dance class, or if we went to the gym a little more frequently, or whatever it happened to be. There might be small moves you could make that could make a huge difference over time that would raise the level of fulfillment and meaning in your life just by doing one or two things. So you won't know what those things are if you don't ask that question and just do a little work to write out a little paragraph for each section. What would your high dream be? The ultimate fulfilling vision of what you would love to see happen in this part of your life. There's also kind of the opposite of that is looking for areas where you are habitually not paying attention, or blind spots, or things that are just dragging you down all the time. For example, you might find that you are knocking it out of the park in many arenas of your life, but there's one arena that is constantly dragging you down. And it could be, for example, finances. Like maybe you just don't pay attention to your spending. And as a result of that, you've racked up a huge credit card bill and you're having trouble paying your bills. And it's but you're very orderly in every other way. If you can look at that arena of your life and go, what is my relationship with money like? How am I operating differently in that arena from all the other arenas in the wheel of life? And why do I suppose that is? What's really going on there? It can be a way of sort of taking a step back from being immersed in it to observe your own behavior and start to kind of diagnose what's really going on here. Could also be maybe it's health and fitness, maybe it's friendship, maybe it's the area of romance, maybe it's your spiritual life where you're just checked out, not really doing anything in that arena. Could be any one of them where you're paying a lot of attention to certain areas of your life and no attention to others. And it's the cumulative effect of that is that it's dragging you down or reducing your capacity for fulfillment, or it's holding you back from what you could be experiencing if you just paid more attention to the areas that you're neglecting. So that's another way you can use the wheel. Yet another way is to pull this wheel out every year, say around December or so, and look at the year to come and use the wheel of life as a grid for setting your annual goals, or just even an annual intention. This could be the year of fun and recreation. This is going to be the year where I learn how to play like I've never learned before. And just set down goals for every month of the year where you're going to play at something new or try play in some new way. that would not be a year ill spent, I will tell you. That could be a terrific way to spend a year. Just grow in that capacity to play and delight and be present to joy. But you could pick any other goal, really have a year of finance, a year of personal growth, a year where you really focus on your career. Or you could say, I'm going to pick 2 or 3 areas of the wheel and just set lesser, like not huge goals, but next step goals for just these 2 or 3 areas on the wheel for this year. So you can use it as a grid for deciding where do you want to set your goals for the year to come. And you can also use it at year's end as a way to evaluate, where did I grow? How did I change? Where did I gain new ground? Or where did I stumble? Where did I kind of lose my way? It can be a diagnostic on both sides for figuring out kind of where I want to advance or where perhaps I did not advance in the way that I wanted. And to say, well, what got in the way of that? Because I know I wanted to advance, so what happened that blocked me from doing that? And I'd say in general, whenever you are experiencing a kind of malaise or things just seem out of whack and you can't really tell what's going wrong, you're just feeling out of sorts and can't name what it is, sometimes just pulling out the wheel of life can actually help, because the vagary of life can sometimes feel so vast and overwhelming, it's hard to name what's happening. But if you pull out the wheel and just go, well, is it stuff going on in the family, or is it stuff going on in my environment, or is it the fact that I'm not growing personally? And I can't tell you how many times I've done that, and I just go through the wheel and then go, oh yeah, it's the financial piece, or it's the fact that I haven't played in 2 months. It's like I'll just find the thing that actually is the pain point for me, but I couldn't see it without kind of breaking it down into smaller chunks, so I could kind of look at each part of my life individually and begin to kind of see, where am I hurting? Where does it hurt? What's causing me to have this dissonance in my life? So, and those are just some examples, but this particular tool, it's simple, it's easy to use, you can always have it in your back pocket. And I just highly recommend you keep this with you all the time. You can even use it in conversation with other people when you're trying to help them process through things. It's simple, as I mentioned, and just always a useful tool to have. So that's what I wanted to share with you. This month is just the wheel of life. I like my version of it obviously better. I think it's a little more accurate, more useful than the one you typically see. So feel free to use it and share it around. And I will leave you with that for this month. Thanks very much. I look forward to seeing you in another Identity Matters soon. Have a great month.